welcome to the Caprock Life Podcast, the official podcast of CaprockHomeHealth, which has been in business over 42 years. We are the largest family-owned home health company in Texas. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, comfortable, and independent in their home. We are a values-based company, and our core values spell the acronym DIRECT, because our core values direct how we behave. Our core values are drive, integrity, respect, empowerment, compassion, and teamwork. Our standard of excellence: work hard, be nice, have fun. Let's get into it. All right. Well, hey, everybody. We hope you have enjoyed our foundation series up to this point, where we've looked at the why behind what we do. We've explored our history. We've looked at our mission, our vision, and our values. And we've been unpacking our 3 priorities for 2025. Today, we're going to dive further into the final of our 2025 top 3 priorities, which is that of extreme ownership. And also, if you missed the last episode, we had a very special guest on, had a great episode with Steve Sosland. He's an executive coach to a few of us here on the leadership team, so I would highly encourage you to go check that episode out. He dropped a ton of wisdom and knowledge on us, so it was a great episode. Well, with me again today is our fearless leader, Mr. Carlos Morales. Carlos, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a fantastic day.
It is a good day.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for being here again with us. Each episode, we want to give our listeners an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more, and we're going to just ask a little fun icebreaker question to get us rolling.
Let's do it.
We'll just do a fun one today. So football season's here, and I think anybody that's known you for any length of time knows your team. But for those that don't, who are you cheering for this season?
Well, we'll take it to 2 different levels. With college, you really should only have one team. I have 2 teams. Texas Tech.
Okay.
Texas Tech always against anybody. My second team is anybody that plays Texas.
Oh, okay. That's
anybody
fair.
that plays Texas, I'm rooting for them. Just out of spite. For them, but then obviously for NFL, it's Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
born and raised. We're on a good streak right now, building somewhat of a dynasty, and certainly enjoying this time while we have this ride. So it's been fun. It's been fun to poke at all the Cowboy fans. It's been fun to celebrate the wins, and we'll ride this wave as long as we can.
Yeah, for sure. Any concern at all? KC started the season 0-1, or do you feel like they just needed to work out some kinks?
I think you always got to work out some kinks. I think they need some receiving plays, right? They need some big pushes down the field, and some big catches. But I think their team is pretty whole. I think their line is a lot better. So expect big things. I'm worried about the first one.
Good, yeah. And you don't think Kelsey's too distracted with his new engagement?
Apparently hopefully. Not anymore. I don't know. That should be the cap, and now he should be comfortable and get back to focusing on football. I'm just kidding. I have no place to say that. I have no idea. But no, I think it's going to be another good year.
Good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I will say David almost came out from behind the sound booth when you said you have 2 college teams. So
and it makes sense. So and every time I say that too, especially to fellow loyal Tech fans, are like, immediately. Then you say anybody against Texas. Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
right?
I can get behind that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, on that note, talking football, if you're part of our Caprock team, don't forget to play our Pigskin Pick'em. It's a weekly NFL team pick'em game. Super fun, and you're eligible for some prizes. So definitely join us in that, and don't forget to make your picks for this week if you're tuning in. So every week counts. Well, shifting gears, Carlos, let's talk a little bit of industry talk.
Sure.
And y'all also just got back from our industry conference called TAC. And just give us a quick overview, one, of how the TAC conference was, and then also maybe any legislative changes that are coming down the pipe.
Sure. So TAC conference is always good as far as information, certainly when legislation's in session, right? And so we've had a lot of successes. Going back a little bit, I guess the TAC is really a great time because we get all our administrators there too, right? And a few leadership positions that get down there. So we'll get together, we'll learn together, learn individually, but then we'll take opportunities to have, time with the team, dinner, just to get to know each other a little bit better, talk about issues, talk about things we need to improve, talk about things that are working, getting some great valuable face time. is usually a fantastic opportunity with TAC. But we did learn quite a few things, and we do have some changes coming. We had some positives in the legislative efforts that this industry made, and so we did get an increase for our PAS services, for our attendance services.
Great news.
Which is really great news. We're heading in the right direction. It was certainly not enough, but we're a little disturbed by HHSC, the way they presented the information, and we learned and got drilled down a ton in the conversations we had, even with some select HHSC individuals at the conference. But they put wording in there, and everybody thought this as it was going through, that they were going to pay the reimbursement enough to pay our attendants $13 an hour. They got real creative with their wording, and so this last time when we got an increase, they created a base wage of $10.60, and we also had the attendant compensation plan in place. This year, they did away with attendant compensation. They did away with a base wage, right? So now we're held to the federal minimum wage as far as a floor, which we're nowhere close. But they said that all agencies should be expected to pay an attendant rate of an average of $13. But in that definition of attendant rate is payroll taxes, it's benefits, overtime, and everything. So it came pretty much to the consensus of how hard it would be to take the reimbursement they increased for us and pay 13, right, flat, on top of payroll taxes, on top of everything else. So not real happy with the wording they put out there, and it's still out there, and it makes it seem like we're supposed to pay 13, but it's very hard to really get close to that, the way they put it in there and what they've included. So we have attendant rates improving, right? So we have attendant rates increasing this year in our programs, which is exciting. Definitely as an industry, we don't feel it's enough, but we're going to chase it again in a couple of years, right, for more. So we have good momentum. I think they've woken up a bit to actually what's necessary and where we're at, and so we've got some good information there, and we're waiting to hear back from the federal government, Department of Labor, on potentially reinstating the companionship exemption and removing certain percentages for qualifications for those, which affects the overtime expense that we have in our PAS programs, because we don't get reimbursed for overtime. But we do have continuity of care that we need to pay attention to. So compensation exemption or the companionship exemption could help us to eliminate overtime, but allow all of our attendants to keep their hours over 40, and then allow us to increase our rate. So fingers crossed on that one. From our end, we'll wait to see, but that's going to be a federal Department of Labor law that we're going to wait to come down. They just closed the comment period on the 2nd of September, so we're about a week out. So we'll wait to hear from that. So some good movement there. I think the industry, both statewide and national, is recognizing the importance and the importance of improving what it is that we have in place that's so special with home care, and the necessity that especially Texans, right, what they need. So that was a big one. There's still a negative one out there that's still looming. That's federal, the CMS rate, right? The home health rule. They're wanting to cut reimbursement 9% across the board. We discussed that while we were there, met with a couple other owners, and put together from their input and borrowed a little bit from them to send templates out to our company, right, for everybody to send out. So those that did, thank you for sending in your comments to show them how detrimental this decrease absolutely will be. The National, or I guess American Hospital Association, a lot of large organizations were on board with supporting home health and eliminating that reduction. I think there was almost 1 million comments that were sent in, 900 something thousand. So that's a flooding of comments. And so we learned that they will absolutely look at the number and look at the comments, but they also want quality. So that was one reason we put the templates out there, at least just to have some specifics on the overall effect it'll have. So waiting to hear from that. I know there's a bill out there that they're looking to pass and push that would block a CMS rate reduction for home health for the next 2 years. So there's a lot of activity. Still waiting to hear a lot of information from that, but we hope that gets paused, reversed, and we're not staring down the barrel of reduced reimbursement for home health. So,
Yeah, man, that's a lot. But thanks for sharing an update, and more to come on that. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and love that almost 1 million people, like you said, flooded their inboxes. And to reiterate, thank you to our Caprock staff who took the time to advocate on behalf of our industry so that your voices do make a difference.
They absolutely do. And it sounds like the collaboration just across the industry was huge. So fingers crossed that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. More to come. Well, let's jump into our final priority for 2025. We're flying through 2025, so it's taken us a minute to unpack all three. But I think this third one is really timeless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter when we talk about it. We're going to talk about it in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah.
But it's that of extreme ownership.
Yeah.
So, Carlos, tell us, just to recap briefly, what are our three priorities for 2025?
Yeah, so our priorities, one we'll talk about is extreme ownership today. Innovation, right, is the last one. The last one I believe that we talked about.
Yeah.
And then, what was the other one?
Next level leadership. Yeah.
And then next level leadership, right? So we talked about that, I think, first.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Next level leadership will never stop focusing on, right? So we continue to do that. Continue to focus on innovation will never stop. And extreme ownership, as we'll talk about today, should never stop either, right? We just need to highlight these throughout the years to help our mindsets and help adapt them, help to create them to become innate.
Yeah.
But it's good to showcase. Those at least each year, just to bring attention. And so we'll own these throughout our practices. Once we highlight them, right, we'll keep pushing forward. But I think you're exactly right. Extreme ownership should never go away. Right?
Yeah.
That should be a daily practice, daily reminder, daily focus for anybody.
Well, tell us, in your words, what does extreme ownership mean to you?
So in a way, if you could do a couple of quick words, like it's self-assessment, right? So do I love what I do enough to give it my all while accepting the burdens that it's going to take to be successful for myself, my job, my team, and my company? So am I going to own what I do enough to make sure I provide the value, not just for my individual job, but for everything upstream, right? Am I helping everybody else get better, which in turn helps the company get better, which in turn helps us to become a better home health service provider, a better employer? But then how can I do that in a disciplined manner? How can I do that without it being brought to my attention that I'm not, right? I guess that I'm not holding myself accountable. I don't think anybody likes getting called out, right, for not doing their job or for slacking or falling behind. And sometimes it just happens, right? So your response as far as ownership to that is big, but how you carry that forward to avoid it and how you take it upon yourself to ensure that you hold yourself to a higher level that you won't have to be, right? And it just becomes a desire for you. You're going to have to love what you do, love who you work with, and love what the mission and vision are, love what we do as a company, I think, to even buy into this. And that's what we want for everybody, right? So that's why, as far as extreme ownership, we also need to know what drives you as a person. You need to know, you need to be clear who we are as a company. You should be very clear what it is that we're chasing, not only now, but for the future, and that it provides an opportunity for you to practice your passion, and that it's recognized, that it's valued. And I think that will continue to drive ownership to the individual.
Love that. Yeah, so it's really important to know your why and want to pursue that with excellence. Yeah. And we've talked about it a lot. Everybody wants accountability when it's for someone else. Yes. But then this is all about self-accountability first and foremost, or like you said, that's self-respect. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Yeah. Is there an area you're practicing extreme ownership, or is there an area you know you need to begin practicing extreme ownership in?
Man, that's a tough one. Put people on spot. Those questions. I think a lot of it is trusting in the culture, obviously, that we are pushing, but making sure that I'm supporting it, not asking how can I, going and learning and understanding what needs to happen to support the culture that we're building. And within that, understanding the people that are buying in, that we're putting in certain positions and putting at certain levels of leadership, is entrusting them, right, to do their job, allowing them to create extreme ownership. Yes, you might have to hold accountability just because some people don't know what they don't know. Certainly when they start out, certainly when they transition to a new position, there's a lot to learn, regardless of how much you might know. You're in a whole different level of expectation, but I have to practice extreme ownership to make sure I provide all the resources and opportunities, not only for success for all of our people in our leadership, but then also in the support of the culture that we're establishing, right? That will build better leaders. It will help build certainly a better culture in understanding where we're going, but also a trust, right? That's the big area that I need to really focus on, is establishing the comfort of trust in this organization, and that's a hard one.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to chase, but it's not impossible to accomplish quickly, right? It just is, like I said, trusting in your team, giving them the resources, and then the measurables. Let's measure what's working, what doesn't. Don't be scared to fail. As part of extreme ownership is expecting that you will fail, but when you learn that, like, let's just try not to do it again, and try to just make sure that every situation is addressed with an opportunity that lies behind every failure, right? That we really need to focus. So as far as extreme ownership is making sure that exists in our company.
Yeah.
And making sure that I'm providing everything that I can to anybody that needs to and wants to, and to continue their success.
That's awesome. Well, and we actually have tied each of our priorities to a couple core values, and you hit on one that I feel like we didn't link to this priority, but is one that we're really focusing on, and that's our core value of empowerment. Yeah. And really for you, and I'm not saying this for you specifically, but like if your tendency is to want to control the situation or just take it over, say, well, if I want it done right, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
But really what you just shared is like being able to empower and entrust our team and know that they've got the resources they need, where you can then let them go and do that and thrive. And that's hard.
It is hard, but one of the best or easiest ways I think for me to do that is setting weekly goals, right? Setting an accountability list for myself each week to ensure that I'm doing these things, because it's easy to say and it's easy to do once. It's the continuation, right? It's the consistency that I know sometimes I lack, and I have to get better at that. So setting these goals weekly, setting them monthly, setting them to be measured, and being held accountable to putting these things in place is something that's going to help accomplish that, help support of others. So that's something I'll have to consistently get better at.
That's great. And being comfortable with others calling you out if they have to, and that's where the high trust organization comes in.
It is, and so I like to think that I have established that, and I'm pretty confident I have with you. Called me out a few times, which is good, which is exactly what's needed. And it's never
not always comfortable, but
no, and I get it. It's never comfortable. I don't think at any level doing that, but that's what's necessary, right, for a team to create trust, create cohesion, and eliminate confusion. Right, as we talk about, clarity is extremely important, and the only way to be clear is to ensure that everybody has a voice for understanding. And whether it's contradictory, we always talk about healthy conflict. That's exactly what healthy conflict is. That has to be a living and breathing practice in our company. And I feel I've established that. I have to do it better with everybody, but it has to go down the line too. So the more I practice it, that's what I'm thinking, the more people will understand that this is okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I do enjoy it. That's where you learn the most. Honestly, you either learn the most of what you're missing, or you learn what you're not understanding or you're not aware of. Because we don't know what we don't know. And I don't necessarily hear everything that's going on, nor do I need to. But if it impacts a change, or it's impacting the culture, or it's impacting just the mission of our company, then I absolutely need to understand it. Everybody just has to be comfortable sharing it, even if it's hey, you're not hearing this, or you're not listening, or whatever it might be. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm open to that, completely open to it.
It's good. Yeah. And you always state you've got an open door, open phone, open inbox policy.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, you don't hear enough, I don't think, from people, but we'll continue to ask and say, bring it. Let us know.
I'd love to hear more.
The good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. Well, just putting it in context for people in home care, Why do you feel like extreme ownership is important in home health?
Ideally, in this industry, we have to be dynamic. It's ever changing, always changing. They can't let us be comfortable, right? There's constant reimbursement fights, constant regulatory policy changes, unfunded mandates that come our way that we have to figure out. All of it while still trying to maximize the quality of services that we provide. So we're having to continue to do more with less. And a lot of that comes with struggle. A lot of it comes with conflict, right? Some healthy conflict, but it also creates an opportunity for creativity, right? To think about it. So we can get creative. It provides opportunities for us to figure out how to do more with less. As I said, we have to be dynamic and look to figure this out because there's only so much we can control, and we take a lot of rules from the regulations, from legislators, and we're given the rules. We got to figure out how to build the playbook, right? So extreme ownership in that is understanding what we're chasing, what our challenges are, what we can't control, but understand what we can control and how we can impact each other by doing things better, right? And a lot of that's going to come as we need to get better, like I said, clarity with the rules and things that are coming, better with our training, better with our collaboration, better with our leadership education. And as we chase those, I think extreme ownership will absolutely fall into it to where we can shift in any way we need to because our team's cohesive. Everybody's owning their positions. They own their job. They understand how their job affects others and vice versa, right? How we create success for everybody. And owning that and being able to be adaptive is a huge key in this industry.
Yeah, so good. Well, and as you're sitting there talking about it, to wrap us up, it seems fitting that extreme ownership was our third priority for the year because really it encapsulates those first two of next level leadership and innovation. We're asking all our staff to be innovative, and we're asking them to grow as leaders because, man, this is a quickly changing world. The skills we had yesterday may or may not translate into the future. So we've all got to commit to that self-growth, that self-mastery, ongoing personal development. So that's doesn't matter what level you're at in the organization, got to commit to a level of growth and being willing to adapt and innovate as we move forward. Yeah. Well, good stuff today, man. We've covered a lot in a short time, and we unpacked a couple legislative changes coming down the pipeline. We got some key TAC takeaways, which was awesome. Again, like you said, I know it's always amazing to get our administrators together with some of our leadership team. And so we're going to continue to explore more creative ways to get our teams together as we move forward. We know there's tons of value in doing that. And then lastly, we unpacked the third of our 2025 priorities, which was extreme ownership. So any final thoughts as we look to wrap today?
Man, we have a lot coming our way. We have some positive changes. Positive changes always also bring conflict because usually it's never enough or it's just a change in the way that we operate, right? But it's progress. We're making progress. And so we navigate the best we can. I feel like we have a fantastic team. We need to be a lot more open, obviously, with the information so people know how to adapt. But at the same time, we need people comfortable asking questions, right? So we're making our own changes here to get better at that, to get better at being clear, to being transparent, but then also supportive. And I think like I said, we have a great team that can take this. As long as they've got the tools and the resources, we should continue to be wildly successful and into the future. Let's just adapt to these changes. Positive, negative, we'll wait to hear on some of these things. But this is the world we operate in. This is ideally what we all signed up for. So I'm excited for the things that are coming. I'm excited where we're going. I am excited that legislation is seeing importance of our industry. Maybe not as fast as we want, but there's been progress the last two sessions. So we can only expect continued progress into the third session. And we just have to focus on what we know and do what we can with what we have and start creating our own success.
Yeah, love it. Okay, we're going to invent the future of home care.
That's right. That's
the future's bright. I jumped ahead, but I do want to give a quick kudos before we wrap out of San Antonio. So this was from Crystal Steiner. We always like to give a kudos on the podcast at some point. And Crystal Steiner gave a shout out to Shannon Dash, stating that she exudes all our core values. She was recently moved into Crystal's office and has been a great asset during stressful times. Crystal says, I appreciate all she does to help me daily. So, Crystal, Shannon, that's amazing. Thank y'all for sharing that.
Thank you very much.
Exhibiting our teamwork core value there. So, phenomenal. Well, closing call to action today is reflect on this priority of extreme ownership and ask the question, where's an area in my life, my leadership, or work that I've been making excuses in? Is there something or someone I've been blaming for too long? And my encouragement for you is to dig into this concept, take agency for your work and life, and step into the ring. And is it uncomfortable? Possibly, yes. But you and the people you lead will be better for it.
Yep.
So, Carlos, thank you for your time
Absolutely,
today.
man.
And that's a wrap. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Caprock Life Podcast.